Hush, breathe, take stock of things around you, check your fingernails. Because after what we have witnessed in the second T20I between India and South Africa, I'm sure a lot of things around might be a mess. You might have thrown something somewhere, some things that might have been broken, your fingernails might have been chewed, you might have chewed the skin from your fingers. Just take a look at all that because we are going to discuss more about the second T20I between India and South Africa on the Outside View Live, powered by Vespa and Aprilia. We'll do that, but before that, let's take a look at the SXR 160.
You're late.
Don't just live life, maxify it.
Right then, we are back live on the Outside View Live, powered by Vespa and Aprilia. I have with me the company of ABC, Archana Das, Boria Majumdar, Claire Cowan. And I will have to come to you, Boria, first to change your spot. We've done all other things, but India's fielding, it does not improve, it seems.
You know, if you drop so many, what do you do? I mean, Rajeshwari Gaikwad drops Laura Wolfart, she gets a 50. Lizelle dropped twice by Richa Ghosh. How many misfields you saw by Richa Ghosh herself? I mean, that innings that she played was an incredible one, but the number of misfields there, even in the last ball, that was a dead run out. I mean, you couldn't even pick that up. You know, when it was 8 of 17, India had it sealed. Harley Deol drops it, half tracker, goes for a pull 4. Then Arundhati Reddy pulls it back. You know, you've got 6 of 2. One good ball sealed. You bowl a no ball, which in fact she got away with one. And you bowl another one. And you give a free hit. See, this is a gift. It is a classic case of inability to handle pressure. Classic case. The last 2 balls, yes, you can say that the last ball of Harleen's over, Laura was lucky. But fortune favors the brave. India has gifted this game. There was Radha Yadav and there was the rest in terms of field. The wicketkeeper, she took 200 hours to get the bails off and not stump Mignon du Preez. Okay? So I'll put it this way. At least it was a good fight. They put in their very best. So it was a major improvement compared to yesterday. But frankly, if the girls go back tonight and they take stock, 10 times out of 10, they should have won this one.
Yeah, there were more than one occasions where the game was almost in India's pockets before falling out of it. We've been looking at the SXR 160 visuals, which says Maxify Life. We don't know who did that, who didn't, but we sure know that Laura Wolfart and Lizelle did that in plenty today. Claire, 70 for Lizelle, that 53 classical middle order 53 for Laura Wolfart, something we've seen in the T20 World Cup last year. She continues doing that. Your thoughts on that innings and the overall win for South Africa?
Absolutely. I mean, Lizelle Lee batted beautifully up front, and we saw it sort of start. We saw her start. Just pick a ball that she tried to put over the top in that first T20 and then got caught. But today was much better. She took her time a little bit more up front and then punished the bad ball. Look, I will be honest, she was very fortunate getting dropped on 33 and dropped on 60. You can't do that to a player like Lizelle Lee. She's going to go on and punish you. You know, she came away with a strike rate of 155. I mean, it's just exceptional. And then Laura Wolfart to close it off. You know, we've spoken about it on the show before, how when Laura started off, her strike rate was something that she needed to work on. And she's done the hard yards, and she is becoming absolutely a superb player for South Africa, and she's got an incredibly bright future. To be scoring 53 or 39 at the age of 21 with that kind of stress and that pressure on your shoulders, to win a series for South Africa was just exceptional. I thought she batted beautifully. I think she manipulated the field and brought out some shots that you would never really have seen her being, playing 2 or 3 years ago. I thought it was a fantastic innings on her behalf. So, yeah, very, very happy, obviously, for the win. Extras. That's all I'm going to say. Extras.
South Africa
should never have been sort of trying to get that total of 158. If you take that those six extras, the 6 wides that they bowled, they wouldn't have had to take it so close to the end. And then to Boria's point, I think, yes, India were lucky not to get 2 no balls in that last over. And then to bowl a no ball of the second last over, I mean, Laura Wolfart, that's easy pickings for her. So then you take all that pressure that we've built up off. And so, yeah, happy about the win for South Africa. And that's obviously a series win. So that's the first for the ladies in India. So, congratulations to them.
Yeah, I said yesterday also that 160, when you say India will score 160, you will gain Indian followers. But today you might get even South African followers. For South Africa has chased 159. Coming back to you again, Boria, the Laura Wolfart innings is a classic example of a par-less strike batter. I mean, you don't necessarily need par to score big. Yesterday I was asking you whether Indians lack par, and today Laura Wolfart showed us that you don't need par.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no question that it was a very, very good innings. But, we were being polite. I mean, look at that fielding. It's not even club level. Frankly, it was rubbish. I mean, when you play international cricket, and there is no excuse of lockdown, okay? For once, anybody who says lockdown and we haven't played international cricket, we have not done this, we have not done that, for God's sake, these are excuses. I mean, Rajeshwari Gaikwad, it's a regulation dolly. Laura Wolfart hits it back at no pace. She just needs to bend down, pick it up, gone. And that pressure South Africa would have choked. Richa Ghosh. How many runs did we concede? Claire mentioned 6 wides. 20 runs at least. You overran the ball. Think of that Arundhati Reddy overrunning the boundary of that Harleen Deol delivery, which went for 4. That should have gone for nothing. She simply overran. That is basic cricket. Is that lockdown going to teach you that? That, okay, I have not practiced because of lockdown. That's head here. And that is international cricket. Very basic of international cricket. If you lose a game like this actually will take a lot away from your team. And how many instances do you want me to give you? Richa Ghosh, catch 1. Harleen Deol, that ball 2. Arundhati Reddy, no ball 3. Arundhati Reddy overrunning 4. Rajeshwari Gaikwad, catch 5. Richa Ghosh on the offside, catch 6. Nusrat Parveen, 7. How many times, how many chances do you want to give a good side which is beating you? So it is a gift. India should have won this match 10 times out of 10. You have gifted it away. And frankly, Lizelle Lee and Laura Wolfart, any good player, they are top quality players. Any good player, if you give them that many number of lives and get that many number of opportunities, what will they do? They leave it.
Yeah, fair points. And for those of you watching, if you feel this is harsh, it is not because it wasn't 1 or 2 lapses that have made a difference, but it's a whole lot of things. There's very few catches taken, the chances taken, but a lot missed. So that's where this criticism from Boria comes from. Let's move ahead to Archana Das. I'd like to know your thoughts about India's bowling, because there were some strange, we always say that in a run chase, your best bowler bowls the second last over. And here we saw Harleen Deol, probably not, if you kind of look at India's top 3 or 4 bowlers, he perhaps might not be there. There's Deepti Sharma, who's not having the best of times, etc. So your thoughts on that India's bowling lineup, the strategies that we saw today?
Yeah, first of all, it was a great knock by both the batsmen, as we saw, and it was poor bowling and poor fielding. Coming back to your question, was Harleen's ball, getting Harleen was a gamble as for Smithy. So it paid off as she got the wicket. But again, she couldn't pull it back because of the lack of fielding again. So they were coming back in patches, which was sad, when 2 batsmen are playing Lee. Like I told you, they're Lee and Laura Wolfart. If both of them are playing, then the match is theirs. Even if it's 170, it's going to be theirs. And that's what happened. So I think it was a good gamble. I would back the decision of Smithy. But then again, when Arundhati got the last over instead of Deepti Sharma, who's quite experienced, but I think she should have taken that, on her stride, and she should have delivered it properly. And lack of indiscipline in Arundhati's bowling, especially when you're bowling a no ball. She got away with the first one. She was quite lucky. And fourth one was like terrible show. I mean, you just cannot expect when when Radha Yadav was doing so well, she actually pulled the match together. The brilliant catch of hers, you can't just miss it. It was brilliant. And later on, there was Harleen also. I just noted down here. Harleen was also great. And Rajeshwari Gaikwad. That was silly. The cotton ball was just not on, So these are the things, but the match is gone. You can't help. And I think Richa Ghosh, the ball was chasing her. She was wherever she was. I sometimes pity her, like wherever she is, the ball is just chasing her. So there's no excuse. As Boria said, there is no excuse, of course. But it's really disheartening to see the bad show in India. Playing in India, they won the series. T20 one day, like it's gone. It's sad. Lot of improvement is needed in terms of fielding and also bowling, I think.
Yeah, it's South Africa's first win,
Yes.
T20I series win in India.
It's a big deal.
Remember they just won 2 T20Is against India before the series started in 10 attempts, and here there are 2 out of 2. Let's come to you, Claire, with Radha's bowling, because she clearly was. I mean, India had 2 sets of fielders. There was Radha Yadav and there were the others.
Yes.
She did well with the ball. Inspirational stuff, in fact, in that last over, the cotton ball to dismiss Lizelle. So she was doing it all on her own, not getting too much support from the other. And Rajeshwari Gaikwad, remember, did well too. So your thoughts on those spin twins and their bowling?
Look, I think they bowled really well, and they're a good pairing. So they sort of like complement each other. They managed to build up quite a lot of dot balls, and we saw that happen. And the pressure goes back on the South African batters. But the problem is it can't just be the 2 of them. And then when it's the 2 of them bowling and the fielding is not great, it makes their lives really, really difficult. I think both of them were unlucky and probably conceded sort of 2 to 3 boundaries that should have been cut off. And I'm just not quite sure what the Indian fielders are doing, because we've seen it happen now quite often with, and Boria's spoken about it, that they're kind of diving over the ball. And I don't know if it's just the timing or they're leaving the slides till too late, but the fielding coach and that management team need to work on it, because it's costing them a huge amount of runs. It's just inexcusable. And then it's really difficult for those bowlers to sort of stay positive and stick to a game plan, because, when you're saying, well, we'll set the field so that they have to play on the leg side, and now you're bowling to the leg side, and now they're playing the right shots, you've got protection out there, but then the ball is still going for a 4, or they're conceding, there's a bad dive, and then the ball runs sort of 20 meters away, someone else has to pick it up and throw it in, and they've, trotted through for 3 single or 3 runs. It doesn't make a bowler's job, any easier. And you hear it in men's cricket, you hear it in women's cricket, that especially T20 cricket, but all cricket favors the batters. You don't want to be making bowlers' lives any harder, because they've got a tough job at the best of times.
Yeah, fair point that fielders needed to assist the bowlers on this at very occasion, at least, because remember the asking rate was very, very close to 8 and over. But Boria, that if the team needs any lifting, which ideally they shouldn't when they're playing for India, they need to watch those last 4 balls bowled by Radha Yadav, isn't it? She looked to be in pain. And remember, after that also she was there fielding in the deep. So that was really inspirational.
I'm glad you said it was Radha Yadav and the rest, because that's exactly what it was. Maybe except 1 or 2 decent that Jemima Rodriguez saved last over. That was a good body behind the ball, and that was 2 runs saved. Actually set up that last over. There were 1 or 2 like that, but otherwise, yes, it was. I mean, Radha Yadav put in her. See, that's what I keep talking about. As far as Radha Yadav is concerned, 200% effort. After that, you lose, it's fine. I'm completely fine, because in sport, if Lizelle Lee continued with 100, you don't do much, because she's a quality act who's playing a quality innings. Now, if the world's best batswoman is playing like that, or one of the best, then you take your hat off and say, okay, fine, it's not my day. But Radha Yadav was sensationally good. I thought, I'll keep coming back to that. I thought at every point in time, even the captaincy, if you really see, Richa Ghosh dropped 1. Why on earth was Richa Ghosh fielding in the boundary?
Exactly.
The Smriti Mandhana doesn't even know the basics or what?
My point.
I mean, you are captaining the side. She has already missed 2. How many runs have you conceded by not keeping your best fielders in the right place? Why would you do that? And clearly that girl is under pressure. You can see her face. On television, if you see, and it's playing on her. The catch drop is playing on her mind. The misfield is playing on her mind. That is why I keep talking about this. Has nothing to do with lockdown or India not playing. This is basic cricket. Archana will tell you, Claire will tell you, anyone who's watched cricket, who understands cricket, follows cricket will tell you, this is India's game. Was India's game. India gifted it. So just analyze it over by over. At one point in time, the asking rate was 10. Then it went up to 12 with the last 2 overs. Hardly the old 17 of 8 balls. All you needed was one good ball. There was a half tracker. If I was a captain, before that ball, I would take time. Put mental pressure. Let the South Africans think, why are you rushing with your ball? Why? For God's sake, why? Take your time. Take that extra 30 seconds. Put mental pressure. Do something with the field so that the batswoman thinks, what is she doing? I mean, come on, man. This is international cricket going on. You're playing a series. You're playing a match which could have won India the series. It would have been 1-1. So anyway, so the point is, qualitatively, in terms of potential, obviously, if your team can score 159, they have enormous amount of potential, right? So WV Raman, get the act together. Get the act together. You have played international cricket at the highest level. Get the basics in place. This is a side that can go places.
Yeah, fair point. 158 for 4 is what India got. South Africa chased it down on the very last ball. 159 for 4 to win by 6 wickets. Seal the series 2-0 with 1 game to spare. We'll come back to this talks because we'll deviate a bit towards Vespa Know Your Players. Archana Das is with us. India's bowling disappointed us in the second T20I, but we are going to talk about the day when India's bowlers shone, and not just at any other venue. It was at the Lords when India were playing England. That was a memorable day, not just for India, but for Archana Das as well, picking up 4 for 61, her ODI best. Tell us more about that day, that spell, Archana.
Oh, that was the best moment of my life, undoubtedly. Yes. So it was my second tour, and I was traveling abroad. So that was Lords. Of course, we don't play every now and then at Lords. So it was a big day for everybody, and especially for me. I was the new one. So when I was handed over the ball, I remember I got Taylor at second over. It was a brilliant stump by Sudarshanan, and I just can't tell you how excited I was to get the wicket. And so on, I got the best order, like 4 batsmen out. They were all the Jenny Gunn, and I was over the top because there was Mitali, there was Julan Goswami, there was Gohar Sultana, Niranjana Navaranjan. They were all we were playing like a team. So there was a lot of nervousness. There was a lot of things going on in my mind, but there were a lot of Indian crowd supporting you, and the cheer itself will motivate you so much that you want to do more for the country, So that was the best day in my life. But then, yes, I really regret one thing, that I couldn't get my 5 wicket haul. That I wish I could do it, because it's like any bowler, any batsman, like 100. For a bowler, it's a 5 wicket haul. So I really miss on that. But it's really a great moment for my life.
Yeah, 5 for Lords.
Yes.
Is something that you would like. But tell me more about how you went about planning that bowling spell with Niranjana, who also picked up 3 wickets. So
yes.
Did you have any particular thoughts, or was it just that day everything was coming good?
Yeah, the day I started, we began to bowl first, and Niranjana from one end and Gohar Sultana was good at the ball. And then they got me in the bowling side, and I remember I bowled good. First over was good, and second over I got hit for a boundary, my second ball. And I remember Gauri Sudarshanan and I came up to me, and she told me some harsh words. I have to beep them up now. So she's like, come on, dash, dash, dash. You got to prove yourselves. You're doing well. You can't let this happen. Just go like that. She's feeling difficulties in your bowling, and you have to get her out. So we worked on it strategically well, and I just bowled my top spin. It was a brilliant ball. I can't tell you how good it was. I felt after I bowled it. So it was it was a breakthrough actually. Edwards and she was playing really well. And once I got a wicket, what a confidence I got on the field. So it was all like, I would not say I was top, like the best in the ball with the ball. No, it was Niranjana, it was Gohar, came together, and that's how I got the wickets, I think. So that's how it turned out to be really well. And we really play as a team, And once we set the target, I know we all got bashed up, the bowlers. But when Poonam Raut and Mithali have a brilliant knock and we won the match, I can't tell you, the crowd, the moment of happiness was in our face was like, it was just shining. It was great.
Yeah, chasing 230, Mithali Raj got an
Yes.
unbeaten 94, Poonam Raut made a 60, 50
Yeah.
for Harmanpreet Kaur also.
It was a team effort.
India's, yeah, indeed, and it was India's first win at
First
Lord's.
win, Lords. So special.
Indeed, it was special. There were lots of dashes said to Archana that day. Probably this day, today, those dashes might be spoken in the Indian dressing room. For
Yeah.
India have lost the
No,
series at home.
Let me tell you one thing. The dashes are used not because you're bowling bad or such. It is also used to pep you up, sometimes. Like, khud ko gali de, khud ko gali de. You can't give gali to the other person, right? Then you'll be called out by the umpire. So it's better to give yourself some galis and get back on track.
Lots of care to be taken when you're on the field from the umpires, from the
Yes,
audience
yes,
as
yes.
well. All right, let's move on to our next segment, that is the Aprilia performer of the match. Lots of choices as far as Claire Cowan is concerned. I don't think Boria Majumdar has too many, so I'm going to ask him to go first. Boria, your performer of the match?
Before that, I would have loved the stump microphone to be there when Archana was bowling, and the volume increased so that we could have had a recording of what was being said. For a social historian, to study player behavior is a fascinating thing, and especially abuse. Would have loved it. And the fifth wicket, yes, I do understand. I mean, that Lord's Honours Board,
Yes.
that's a lifetime legacy. So if you walk into the erstwhile museum,
Yes.
and then go inside, in that inside room, and you take one of those benches and look at the honours board, oh man. I mean, Sachin Tendulkar, till date, will crib that I am not on that Lord's Honours board.
Actually, Julian Goswami, I would like to interrupt you. Julian Goswami had told me that, you know what you missed today after the thing, that you missed your name over there. I was like,
On the Lord's Honours board. Correct. I mean, what all people do, Sudarshan at Lord's. I mean, in my case, 2008, I'll tell you this, and before I go and tell you my performer, 25 years of the Indian 1983 World Cup win. Now, this is about 12 years back I'm talking about. Before the team went, and the whole team went back to Lord's to celebrate, I was perhaps the only Indian journalist. Because I was teaching at Oxford at that point. So I would keep coming to Lord's 3 days a week for research. So I was there, and I was in the museum in the morning doing research. So all of a sudden I see one fellow come out with the Prudential World Cup trophy, and he was polishing it because the Indian team would come in the afternoon. And believe me, I mean, it's when you think back, you're embarrassed. And I looked at the trophy, and the museum curator, Adam Chadwick, was a friend of mine. So he said, you want to hold it? I said, I don't, firstly, obviously, yes, but I don't want to hold it here. Will you give it to me for a second? I want to take it to the balcony and hold it like Kapil Dev. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? You've got the Prudential World Cup trophy, and there's nobody, There was nobody. I took that Prudential World Cup trophy, went to the Lord's balcony, and did what all I don't know. I mean, when I think back, I'm like, but that's what it is about. That's what sport is. And come on, I mean, in my case, I've lived with it, because doing a PhD on the history of Indian cricket every single day, unbelievable. My performer, I would go with Laura Wolfart, because 21, winning a game. Lizelle Lee, yes, but you didn't win a game. Laura Wolfart stayed there, captain, pressure, taking that, soaking it in, closing it out for South Africa, and Radha Yadav for India. My heart goes out for Radha Yadav. So that kind of a performance, and you end up on the losing side, pain and all of it, heart goes out for Radha Yadav.
Claire, your performer of the match?
Yeah, I can't argue with Boria, to be really honest. obviously,
very few can argue with him anyway.
I'll have to try one day. I'll have to try and get it right one day. But no, obviously, Lizelle Lee's innings was fantastic. But Boria's hit the nail on the head. For a 21-year-old to finish off a game under that pressure, when you're in India and you are not supposed to chase 159, you are not supposed to win the game. And she managed to hold it together perfectly well with Dupree. Obviously, Dupree didn't contribute massively, but I'm sure having someone with Dupree's experience would have helped her slightly at the end. But no, I absolutely agree. Wolfart's innings won that game for South Africa, and she deserves to get the performer of the match.
Laura Wolfart, indeed. 2 picks. Archana, what's your pick for the Aprilia performer of the match?
It's clear. Laura Wolfart.
Quite simple that.
I really can't go against those two.
Right, let's move to the segment that makes this cricket show a tug of war, the yay or nay moment. Claire Cowan, what's your pick for the yay moment of the match and the nay moment of this second T20I?
So my yay moment was the 2 Indian youngsters. So Shefali and Risha, their innings, I thought it was fantastic. It was absolutely fearless batting. And I hope the rest of the Indian batswomen sort of take that to heart and really try and apply themselves going into the third T20. My nay moment is just one word, and it's for both teams. And India were better, but their 1 extra cost them the match. And South Africa's extras, their 6 extras, the 6 wides, it was very disappointing. And so the nay for me is the extras overall amongst both teams.
Boria, your picks, yay or nay?
Yeah, has to be Laura Wolfart. I mean, again, to see her, the composure, if you see very closely, the way she was concentrating, telling herself, I've got to take it beyond the line. Love it when a young person does that. I mean, that is what sport is about. Nay moment, I will say the Indian management. Deepti Sharma not in form, clearly underdone, feeling the heat, feeling the pressure. You've got a Simran Dil Bahadur we keep talking about. You see a Richa Ghosh doing what she did. You see a Shefali Verma doing what she did, and you send a Deepti Sharma. Why? I mean, send a Simran Dil Bahadur with the clear instruction, 3 overs left. The 17th over, Deepti Sharma played dot balls of the first 4 balls, or maybe 1 and 3 balls. And then the 5th, she got a boundary, and again the 6th was a dot ball or a single. So India got in the 18th over 4 runs or 5 runs. For what? I mean, and you've just seen what a new India can do, right? A Shefali Verma can do and a Richa Ghosh can do. Send Simran Dil Bahadur. Send her. Give that girl an opportunity. You did not even get her to bat. So I think the Indian team management is my name.
Archana, which moment in the game made you go yay and which one kind of made you go nay?
Yeah, I would like to stick with Indian team. Rather, yay moment would be Radha Yadav's fearless cricket and especially bowling. And nay would be the fielding. And I was really hoping what Boria has said, like Deepti Sharma, when she came to batting, I missed that point saying, I thought there must be some changes, but disappointing to see again, same Deepti Sharma. I thought again, Dil Bahadur would be coming in. Unluckily, we didn't get to see her batting, so that's sad. So I would say fielding. I'm still stretching on the point that we are bad at fielding. We need to improve the fielding.
Yeah.
Right then. 2 T20Is done, 1 left. Tuesday is the match day. Let's kind of quickly wrap up by looking ahead to that match. Boria, coming to you first. I want to pick on you a bit because you said that you don't want Smriti to score 2 fours in the first over and first 5 overs and then get out. I think she read just the first part. She heard the first part and she didn't score didn't hit 2 fours. She hit 1 and was out. So what corrective measures you'd like to see India make going ahead to
Very disappointing for her. I mean, and if you see that ball, that was a wide. You chased that wild one and you got out. Again, you're not putting a price on your wicket. Somehow, somewhere, somebody needs to talk to her and say she's a very, very talented lady. I mean, perhaps one of the best in the world. You cannot just do that. What is talent without performance? It's nothing. I can be extremely talented, but I don't deliver. So then what is the talent for? Third T20I, I keep saying this. The third T20I, if somebody comes and tells you it's a dead rubber, that person's a fool. This is international cricket. Every match matters. You're going out there and playing for India. Think about 3-0 and think about 2-1. What here's nice, what looks nice. So go give your best. You've come close today. So you know you can push South Africa. You know you lost the toss. There was due. So things were against you, right? So even after that, you pushed South Africa. You know there were 20 mistakes that you made. So basic mistakes which you could have rectified and you could have won the game. So you know in your heart of hearts, you're good enough to win. Now you do that, right? Because this series has been momentum lost for women's cricket. And I'm putting it very bluntly. And the BCCI is not to blame. The girls are to blame. The management is to blame. The selectors are to blame. First blame is to the selectors. They mucked up. They completely messed up. Number 2, the team management, batting order, changes. Number 3, basics. So you've got to get it back. Indian women's cricket has enormous potential. We played 2 finals, better than the men in the last 4 years. So God damn it, get it back. Get it back as soon as possible. Because you know what happens, Sudarshan? You had 20 crores for sponsorship in the women's challenge. Winning builds momentum. Winning builds, corporate support. BCCI, you, me, shows, Women's Cricket Zone, people watching, Claire from South Africa talking, Archana joining in. All of a sudden, there's flavor. And when the men are winning, and I'm sorry to say this, when the men are winning and the women are not, it is momentum lost. People will compare. Arey yaar, kyun dekhe? Go check social media. The moment I keep doing women's cricket shows, there will be some idiots who will come and say, "Arey, kyun kar rahe hain aap? Arey, har din karunga." That's a different matter. But it is important that you make a statement by winning games, right? Because this is a sport we love with our heart. So I would absolutely want things to fall in place so that the game goes forward.
India need to avoid that 3-0 whitewash at home. But you know what? The Deepti Sharma run out to dismiss Sunil, I thought she's got her mojo back. She'd probably turn herself, get into the groove and stuff like that. But Archana, do you see, first of all, making her do you see her in the 11, the third T20I, and what's your forecast or prediction for the third game in terms of team changes or the strategies that India needs to do? Go ahead.
If I see Harman coming back to the side, I think Dipti may lose her spot, because and it will be quite valid also. Like, you're not delivering your performance, so it's really hard for the captain, to keep you in the side. And also, there is one thing that I want to mention about Deepti is like so said, the lockdown stuff. It's actually showing in her fitness, like slow. You say she's being slow. She's being not that penetrative in her bowling, which is actually true. So I think if you're going to get back to your own performing self, then she has to really pull up her socks now. And coming back to third ODI, if she's making it, she has to really, really work hard. And if she's not performing, I highly doubt her next series as well. But the third match would be really crucial for India, and they should just not do one thing, not monotonous cricket like they did for the 2 matches. Same, wahi batting chal raha hai, wahi fielding, wahi ho raha hai. No, at least change the batting order. Let us just get something else. Like Richa. Send somebody, do something, and let's see what happens. Same thing shouldn't work for me.
Right.
Even if Harman doesn't play, you get Ayushi to play. Proper. We would want to see talent.
You can just probably see and how. So what else you can lose? You lost the series.
Correct. So that is why you've got people in the team. Now give them an opportunity and tell them to go express themselves and play fearless cricket. That's how talent is unearthed. So I would do that.
Yeah, fair point. South Africa 2-0 up, but Claire, you'd think that it's not a complete performance as far as South Africa's bowling is concerned, as far as their wicket-keeping department is concerned. Lots of problems. Not lots of, but there are issues there. But remember, the batting is at an all-time high. They've chased a 270 target in the ODIs, now a 161 in T20Is. Your thoughts for looking at the third T20I?
Yeah, look, I really want, I said in in our pre-match show that I want South Africa to go for the jugular and really sort of put a lot of pressure on India. And I think they must take that same thing and put it into the third T20. Can you imagine South Africa winning a T20 series in India 3-0? It would just be fantastic for the girls. And we've got to remember, every single game goes towards ICC ranking points. And again, that is also vitally important. So I agree with Boria. There's no dead rubber in this. Both sides want to win the next T20. So from a South African perspective, it will be interesting. I can't see too many changes. Hopefully, maybe if Marizanne Cup is well, I would like to see her come back into the team, because I'd just like to see what the balance looks like with her back into the side. We've got it. We keep forgetting. We've got 2 core players also still out. Danae's not there. Chloe Tyron's not there. They would fit perfectly into the T20. So I think it's important for Marizanne to come back in and just find a little bit of form in the T20s and make sure she's feeling comfortable and finding her groove. My pick would then be to say, leave Nadine de Klerk out, give her a rest. She hasn't been fantastic in the T20 series, and she's there and thereabouts. So, if you're really trying to work on what your first 11 would be, she might not be in there now, also based on a second performance that's probably a little bit below par. I think they might give Shangazi a run in the third T20, maybe change up Mlava, put in Shangazi, and I think that would be a great thing to do. To put a little bit of give Shangazi an opportunity. We saw they did that against Pakistan, and it worked really well. And she is a youngster, and she needs to start finding her feet. So it's not a case that it's she wouldn't be able to perform, but it's important that she gets a run. So those would probably be the 2 changes that they may make. I'm not quite sure on Trisha Chetty's injury, whether she's back up to full fitness. Even if she is, I think Sanola Jafta needs another game. She needs to sort it out. And we know she's a good keeper, and we've seen it even in the Pakistan series, in the ODIs that Sanola played now in India. She's had 2 bad games, and sometimes as a wicketkeeper, you just need to find your mojo back a little bit. And maybe she does that in the third T20, and then she just gets that confidence back.
Right then, 2 T20Is done. South Africa have the series in their pockets. 1 match to go. Tuesday, 7 p.m. IST, which is 3:30 in South Africa time. The first ball will be bowled for the final game on this tour. We, of course, will keep you company half an hour before that as well. It's time for me to say thank you to the ABC, Archana, Boria, and Claire. Thanks for joining us today. Looking forward to see you on Tuesday, and everybody who's joined us, thanks for watching, and do tune in on Tuesday, 6:30 Indian time, 3 p.m. South Africa time on this very show, The Outside View Live, powered by Vespa and Aprilia. Keep those masks on. Stay safe.
You're late.
Don't just live life, maxify it.